So by now you figured out I'm not German, even though I have a very German surname. So I'm Swedish, just as Storvix, and we are a software-defined storage vendor. And I will tell you a little bit about our story and how we got here. So we were founded 2016 in south of Sweden. And the following year, we released our first version of our software-defined storage called ARI. And we realized very, very quickly that we needed to have some good reference cases to be able to sell our storage in the market. And we worked very hard to accomplish that the following year. And the year after that, we had the opportunity to join Sony Startup Acceleration Program. And this was the first year they started with this. And they actually had about 49,000 companies that applied. And they accepted 8 of those, and we were one of them. And our participation in this event gave us the ability to form partnership with some big brands in the industry after that. And the following year, we formed partnerships both with Oracle and NVIDIA. And we're currently in the process of developing an extra fast edge storage solution together with NVIDIA. And the year after that, in 2021, we took in our first VC investors, and that also enabled the company to hire some more senior people. And I was among one of them the following year. And after that, we continued to expand our partner network, and we have a partner-first sales strategy. And that's why we're here with Boston today. And we also have a partnership together with Azure and with AWS. And that's a short story on how we got here. And if we look at how the data storage environment looks today, you can see that every day we save 400 million terabytes worldwide with new data. So the need for data storage is expanding fast. And the question is then, why should you work with Storvix? Well, what we did before we developed our solution, we had a survey of about 600 IT professionals, and we wanted to get them feedback of their major pain points with their data storage today. And what we got back was that they're really suffering from a lack of flexibility. And by that, they meant mainly that they buy a data storage solution, and then all of a sudden, very often, their business requirement changes on the fly, and the data storage itself, it's not very flexible. They find themselves, they have to buy new infrastructure very quickly. And that was something we realized we needed to address. And of course, in today's high-threat society, security is on top of mind for everybody, and we realized that a passive, secure solution is not enough. You have to be able to offer an active, secure solution today. And also, simplicity is something that's on top of mind for many organizations, especially since they are moving away from data storage experts, and you get a more general type of workforce. And that's also something that we worked very, very hard to address. And finally, sustainability becomes more and more important today. And not only from an environmental standpoint. With the energy prices that I'm sure you here in Germany have noticed as well, going up quite drastically, it's also becoming a more and more important issue from an economic standpoint. So we also realized that we needed to be able to address these issues while being able to deliver industry-leading TCO and a very competitive price performance. So if we take a deeper look at what flexibility means for us, so we are doing a software-defined storage solution. That means that we are doing software RAID. And when you do software RAID, it also enables you to be a bit agnostic of where you can find the storage itself. That means if you buy a core solution from us today, on-prem solution, and you all of a sudden find yourself that you need more capacity on the fly, you can very easily migrate that out to the cloud, since it's agnostic. And we also offer predefined data sets, and that's part of the core of who we are. So that means that when you as an admin create a new data set, you have a list of many different options. One of them can be a backup data set. One of them could be, say, a MySQL data set. And the key here is you just define which data set you require. That means that each data set you run is going to be automatically optimized for their specific needs. And then you can also choose if you wanted to run it in performance mode, in resilience mode, and even in data efficiency mode. And on top of that, you can also choose if you want every data set encrypted or not. So that means that you can run basically hundreds or even thousands of data sets on one unit, and each data set is going to be optimized for their specific requirements, and they can also be individually encrypted. So the design of the unit is also modular, and that was one of the key areas we wanted to address, since business needs of an organization changes a lot over time. We wanted them to give an opportunity to buy a unit and upgrade the unit itself as their needs changes over time. That means not only can you upgrade the controllers themselves, you can also upgrade the disk packs as time goes by. So you can start with a very basic hybrid flash unit and move up to, say, accelerated all-flash unit, depending on the needs you have for the moment. So since we do software RAID, we also offer instantaneous expansion. So it's very easy to just expand. It basically takes a minute or two, and you're up and running. And security. Well, what does security mean for us? I already mentioned that you can individually encrypt every single data set you run, but we also offer a two-factor authentication for an extra layer of security. And we also do offer a security operations center integration. So normally, with your storage, you would have an extra layer of software to get that integration. But with us, you can either get it through our strategic partner by default, or if you already have a partnership or yourself are running a security operations center, we can offer an API that you can integrate it directly. We also have unlimited immutable snapshots. And this is kind of key to our data resiliency. Many data storage providers today offer immutable snapshots, but they are usually in quite limited number. So the reason why we can offer unlimited is that every single snapshot by itself almost takes 0 data space, even though the data you save can be extremely large amounts. So this feature, together with how the software itself is designed. So if you run us in a setup, we use us for primary storage and backup. You can have on-prem backup or backup as a service from us, or say you run backup in one of the major public cloud providers. That means that we can offer you instantaneous restore. And this is a unique feature that we can offer that's not really common in the business. Usually, maybe you use a third-party endpoint data backup feature or something similar. So the need for an endpoint backup completely disappears when you use our solution. So we also offer data flow behavior analysis. And this means that we can analyze your specific setup over time, and by default, optimize it over time for the specific business needs that you have. So from a simplicity standpoint, we try to design the solution to be as simple as possible. So that means it's basically plug and play. When you get the unit, you get it from the box, you put it out, put it in the rack, connect the cords, press a button, it's up and running within 15 minutes. We have a walkthrough with you with the GUI, takes half an hour. You know everything you need to know. And we also did a unified data solution, so that means it's file and block. The reason we don't really do object today, it's mostly because it's not cost efficient for what we're doing. But we tried to give a unified user experience. So that means if you run us on-prem and you also have an instance, say, in AWS, and say maybe you even have another instance in Azure, You can access all the instances you're running through our cloud interface, and you can migrate them as you want through the instances as it suits you. So we also wanted to implement a self-healing AI feature. So in practice, this means today that we still haven't suffered any level 1 or level 2 incidents from our customers since our foundation in 2016. So this is a very powerful feature, and the unit itself is more or less support-free. We also wanted to simplify how you buy storage. So that means that you get a full license from the beginning. So we don't work with a scaled license model like many of the main storage vendors do today. We want to have a more simpler relationship with the customers so they understand from the beginning exactly what they get from us. And of course, this leads to a simplified IT operations management. And if you take a look at sustainability and what that means to us, the unit itself, it's modular, and that leads to a prolonged product life cycle. So we count on between 7 to 10 years. And since you can optimize each data set for their specific requirements, it leads to a superior energy efficiency. And we are also in the final stages of our ARM architecture. So this feature will be launched at some point next year. So today we count that we are, say, around 30% more energy efficient than the major storage vendor out there. But when the ARM architecture is launched, that's going to decrease by a further 40% or so. And since the unit itself is modular, when the ARM architecture goes live, if you buy a unit from us today, when the ARM controller launches, you can just get the ARM controllers, pick up the old Intel controllers, put them in, and you're up and running without a major service interruption. We also work a lot with asset lifecycle management to keep the CEO down as much as possible. And we also have an automatic feature which enables dynamic space optimization. This is basically ML that's running in the background to optimize the storage you're using over time. And I mentioned this a little bit before, but if you take a look at where you can find us today, you see our core solution there. That's a 4U solution. And you can get it as a single or a dual controller. And we start with a normal hybrid flash solution, and we move up to something that we call accelerated hybrid flash, which is basically a super fast SSD that we take to separate the metadata from the data. And that solution will maybe give you 60% of the workloads in all flash speeds, but of course to a much better price. And then we do offer all flash and accelerated all flash as well. So in the cloud, as I mentioned, we're active today in AWS, Azure, and in OCI. And we also have some really new edge solutions. So we have a partnership with Lenovo. And we can offer an edge solution where we can offer the full enterprise feature set. So that's a 1U solution that we offer today. But if you require a little bit more power, we can separate the server and the storage, and we do 1U for the server and 1U for the storage. And we also want to be able to offer this as services, because we know many end customers, they maybe buy an on-prem solution, and then they find themselves that they want to add extra space in the cloud. And apart from the public cloud providers, we also form partnership with service providers like data centers or MSPs to be able to offer storage as a service in the local areas, so the ISP addresses are local. And we can also offer disaster recovery as a service, and of course, when we do that, we also offer a yearly simulation for the customers so they can feel ensured that what we tell we can accomplish actually happens in case of an emergency. We also work very, very hard with a personal customer support. We're still a fairly small company, so you can view us as a little bit as a boutique storage vendor. That means that both the solution itself, which is ideally designed around a specific use case, that's how we can design the best possible solution for the customer. It's very personal, but we also try to have an extremely personal customer support. We also offer backup as a service, of course, and with that comes central fleet management. And we also know that an OpEx model can be very, very important, even though if you want to buy the hardware directly up, and we can offer that. And I mentioned a little bit earlier that we have AI operation support. That's basically the ML script that I mentioned that's running in the background to optimize the storage as you're running it over time. So that was very, very quickly what we do. And if you're interested to learn a little bit more about us and have a look at our hardware, you're more than welcome to come by. We're here in the bottom store to the left. And you can meet me and the founder of Storvix, Luke, and have a longer conversation. Thank you so much for me.